Well, in Miami-Dade, voters can expect pretty much the same experience that they had back in the 2020 election cycle, because some of the changes that occurred in Florida law were already being implemented here in Miami-Dade County, right? So really the big changes are if you want to request a vote by mail ballot, or if you want to make any changes to your voting record, it's now a requirement that you provide us with either your driver's license number or the last four of your social security number. Before, that wasn't a requirement. It was added in at the legislative level to, provide another layer of security and protection to the voter. I was keeping an eye on that because I didn't know if we were going to have people that really weren't comfortable providing that information and if it was going to cause delays, but I'm happy to say that we really haven't seen that, so everything has been going quite smooth in that regard. And then the other big law change was that the vote by mail drop boxes needed to be manned during the days and hours of early voting, and we were already implementing it in that way. So we had one small change. There were 2 boxes in 2 locations that were offered on the Monday before Election Day and on Election Day that we're no longer able to have there. But it was a new thing that we did, and it really wasn't utilized all that much. And so aside from that, things are going to be just like they were in 2020. I can't speak to other jurisdictions, but here in Miami-Dade, voters would bring their ballot to a ballot box at all the early voting locations during the days and hours of operation. So that's going to remain the same, and also the main office and branch office of the supervisor. And so for our voters, at least, it'll be pretty much the same as 2020. In Miami-Dade, we offer the maximum number of days and hours that you're allowed under the law for early voting. So that means that we're going to be starting on Monday, October 24th. We have 28 early voting locations all throughout Miami-Dade. They'll be available from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So it really is maximum convenience for our voters. You can choose to go anywhere throughout the entire day. That was the same model that we used in previous general elections. And then, of course, for a vote by mail, the deadline to request a ballot is going to be October 29th. So if you're somebody who wants to vote by mail and haven't yet put a request in, you're going to want to make sure you do that as soon as possible. My advice always to our voters is to do things early. Even though there are deadlines associated with things, the earlier that you do them, the better off that you're going to be. If you request the ballot early, we can send it to you earlier, and then you'll have a little bit more time with it. And then certainly in terms of getting it back to us, the deadline is Election Day. So we have to have your ballot in our possession no later than 7 p.m. on election night. Not in the mail, not postmarked, in our possession. But again, my recommendation is get it back to us as soon as possible, because there is a provision in law that allows us to notify you if there is an error with your ballot, say you forgot to sign it or your signature doesn't match, and then you have an additional 2 days to correct it. So if you wait till Election Day to provide us that ballot and you forgot to sign it, as an example, you're not going to have very much time to correct it. So my message is either get out to vote very early or return your ballot to us early. In Miami-Dade, there was always a restriction on the number of ballots that you could be in possession of. That was in place since 1998. So when the state law changed to somewhat mimic Miami-Dade County, there were changes in other jurisdictions from what voters may have done in the past, right? But not so much for us here. So the state law and the Miami-Dade County Code mirror each other quite similarly. You are allowed to be in possession of your immediate family members' ballots to drop those off, right? But beyond that, you shouldn't be handling them. We're able to issue replacement vote-by-mail ballots. That's not a problem. If you change your mind on a candidate, if you've damaged it somehow, if it got wet from the rain, and any reason, all you have to do is call the office and request a replacement ballot be mailed to you, and that's not a concern. And similarly, if you've changed your mind, if we've mailed you a vote-by-mail ballot, but you decided that you would rather go in person, you can also do that too. We're ready. We just want our voters to participate. It's never been easier to vote in Miami-Dade County. Vote by mail, early voting, or election day, you pick what you're most comfortable with, and just prepare in advance. Make your plan. Go on the website, review your sample ballot, do your research, and come out and vote.